What's cracking, guys? And today I need to talk about the Pokemon community and it being in a very, very bad state. Now, I'm not talking about the games in general. No, we all know that Pokemon is the biggest grossing franchise of all time. It's made about $90 billion. I mean, it's in a fantastic, the game and the company are in a fantastic state. But I'm talking about the fans. Now, while Pokemon does have great community members and lots of good people, good Samaritans, it also is plagued with a bunch of toxic people. It makes it kind of difficult to be a Pokemon fan, or sometimes just to enjoy Pokemon stuff without all this stuff coming right in your face. Now, recently on Twitter, there was a thank you Game Freak hashtag, and this is nice. Like, I'm so glad that this is actually good. Like, this is a nice positive movement from the Pokemon community talking about their love of Game Freak for bringing Pokemon to life and making these amazing games. But you're like, Nopal, like, this is positive news. Aren't you talking about how the Pokemon community is, like, toxic? Well, if you go into it, you will see that, yeah, they have things like people saying, to be honest, they deserved all the crap they get. They have been doing nothing but milking their fans for every penny. We've been patient for years, and we got the same recycled game, but with less features than the previous one. And then comments also like, they deserve the hate, though. They are such a greedy company. And then you have people saying, why though? I don't support harassing developers, but this still doesn't change the quality of the game. It's sad to see how Game Freak is still not delaying the game after tons of controversy. When the Sonic movie was getting controversy because Sonic's weird design, they changed and delayed that movie just to make the fans happy. And so on and so forth. Like, under the surface of all this forced kind of positivity, honestly, this is kind of like a forced positivity movement, but still appreciated. There is comments after comments after comments and all these talking about how Game Freak is messing up, all this bad stuff going on, and it's overwhelming. And for some of you who have no idea what's going on in the Pokemon community, why people are upset, why they're outraged, all this other stuff, while they're toxic, well, it's mostly because of the national dex not being in the entire new Pokemon game. Like, Pokemon are being cut. With over 900 Pokemon now, like, putting them all in a new 3D high-definition Switch game for the first time, like, they decided, like, let's not go that route and let's just focus on making some good ones. Obviously, still, this makes people unhappy, and for the highest grossing franchise of all freaking time, some people view this as unacceptable and lazy. I'm not here to debate this, I'm just here to show, like, how bad this situation has gotten. Like, if you go onto the Pokemon Reddit, where 1.9 million users are currently lurking and subscribed to, you can see, like, there's a rage thread dedicated to just raging about the Pokemon game, pinned, by the way. There's a thank you Game Freak is #1 trend in the US right now, and then that's fun / sarcasm being the upvoted thing there, so obviously they're upset about that. Then we have people discussing, like, can we all agree that Pokemon's yearly releases are hurting the franchise? And then can we just talk about how Game Freak got almost everybody in the community to hate Charizard in a few days? I mean, I could literally scroll through some of this. There's like a nice one here. Like, my fiance made a nice cake, which is great. And then below it is Sword and Shield made me realize I have very low standards for Pokemon games for whatever reason. And another one says, I decided to give Bulbapedia a little update to Charmanpedia because he doesn't like Charmander much anymore, and Charmander basically took over everything. I get it. Like, everything is discussing / venting. They had to make a venting hashtag on this freaking subreddit because so many people were complaining about it. So if you were, like, trying to find hype for the game, it's really incredibly difficult sometimes when most of the fan community is upset and pissed off. I'm not gonna say they're not justified. No, I'm not gonna say that. Obviously, I would love every single Pokemon being inside the game with great quality animations, all that other stuff, like not just Charizard, Charizard. Sorry if I mispronounce the name. I know people get triggered when I do that. And let me tell you, like, mispronouncing Pokemon names, that's another thing I want to talk about too. It's like, I'm sorry for mispronouncing a Pokemon's name when the game has no voices and is entirely text. How am I supposed to say these things? I don't know. I'm sorry for not Googling up the official way every time a new Pokemon is introduced. It's literally made up jargon, people. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, going back to the National Dex, yes, I do wish that everything was there. I do wish that they had, like, every single Pokemon's favorite Pokemon there, but, you know, like, I don't think it matters because I want to play with the new Pokemon, which is a perfectly fine response. If I wanted to play with the old Pokemon, I would just play the old Pokemon games. I mean, 900 plus Pokemon to catch is just, I think, personally ridiculous at this point here. I like a more manageable number. Now, I realize it's not a very loved opinion among, like, Pokemon fans here. I get it. Like, I do wish that they had everything in there, but, you know, I don't want to wait, like, another 3 years for them to put in all these old Pokemon that I'm not gonna play with. They already have 400 confirmed Pokemon, and to me, that's quite enough. Because if all the Pokemon were in there and all I did was fight more Pidgeys in the beginning, I would be so sick of that game. It's like I'm just playing the same game over and over again. I don't want to fight more Rattatas. I don't want to fight more Pidgeys. I don't want to fight more Krabbies or Tentacruels, man. I just want to see new Pokemon. Now, moving on to the next thing, like, me even just streaming Pokemon games is rough sometimes, because that's when the competitive nature in people comes out. And I'm not going to go through my entire VOD section here. If you want to, and you want to see examples, then you can look through my Pokemon VODs on Twitch. That's fine if you want to see this, but I'm just going to sum up the stuff that I see. Like, if I catch a Pokemon, they're like, that Pokemon's trashed here. Don't use that Pokemon. And then I catch another one that I don't like, and it's just like, yeah, that Pokemon's top quality. Use that Pokemon. He's the best. Or then if you catch a Pokemon and he is the best, it's like, oh, but he's got a trash quality type. Like, he's not the right type there. It's the worst. His scaling will just be bad. Or blah, blah, blah about his potential, about his initial moveset. Oh, he wasn't as shiny. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Isn't Pokemon supposed to be just about catching the Pokemon that you like and using the Pokemon you like, whether they are the strongest or not? I'm pretty sure every single Pokemon game has been preaching that every single generation. And then on top of it, it's like people going, yo, is this Nuzlocke? And if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically like if your Pokemon faints, it's over. And then people immediately going, this isn't Nuzlocke, this is your first experience, lame, and then leaving immediately. Like, it's not a great community. Or at least it's not a very welcoming one. The next thing I talk about is, of course, the whole stereotype of Pokemon is just for kids. Now, we all know that that's a load of malarkey, given how Pokemon Go got the entire world outside and exercising just to catch Pokemon, alright? Like, that was a great phenomenon. And we all know that games like Pokemon and Mario, just because a game is rated E for everyone, doesn't mean that adults can't enjoy the crap out of it too. But that stigma does come every single time you upload a Pokemon video. You get people going, oh my God, you're using such terrible language in this Pokemon. Like, what about children watching your video? Like, just because you're playing an E for everyone game doesn't mean that I have to be E for everyone too. That's the game's choice, alright? I'm my own person. I do what I like doing. If I want to curse, I'm gonna fucking curse. And let's be real, some of the most positive, steadfast, and dedicated workers in the Pokemon community have to hands down go to all the lewd artists who every single time a new thing is announced, they are on it, they are doing their best, regardless of what people say about them, they will do it. Those people are so committed. Like, much love to those guys. But honestly, I will never get the mindset of people going like, hey, Noble, you need to be kid-friendly every time, like, you mention Pokemon. I'm like, why? It doesn't matter. Like, I'm my own channel. I'm able to do what I want. I'm able to talk about Pokemon in the way I want. Why should I have to change everything I do just because of a single franchise? Because some people who watch it may be upset. They're just gonna be upset. I don't care. I'm not gonna change my personality to be like, oh my god, look at these wonderful Pokemon. Golly gee whiz, that's disgusting. People come to watch YouTube for the you part, alright? And that you happens to be me, and I happen to be a personality. I'm gonna be my personality when I talk about things. The next thing I need to talk about is the Pokemon leaks. Like, the Pokemon leaks took everyone in like a different direction. Like, everybody was either overjoyed with them or upset about them. For the most part, people enjoyed the leaks because, well, Pokemon was just releasing nothing. They're just being silent, and we just wanted to know more. Like, for instance, starter evolutions, I think, are pretty important to know. But anyway, there was a very small amount of people who were just so angry at people for talking about these leaks and going around and just telling them what horrible people they are for ruining the game for them. Like, Noble, you ruined my Pokemon experience by revealing this Pokemon. Like, I don't think that they understand, like, how stupid they sound. While I'm not a Pokemon dedicated channel, I still have covered tons and tons of Pokemon Sword and Shield spoiler, like, meme videos. Just full of trainers, Pokemon, other stuff, and nobody ever hated it because of that stuff. Nobody said a peep. But as soon as I said leak or whatever, everyone got immediately upset. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people got upset. How is it any different from me talking about, like, Sirfetch'd? Like, yeah, that's a spoiler. Like, this is a spoiler. Okay? 100%. This is what a Pokemon is. Alright? And everybody doesn't get upset about me talking about this? Well, Noble, that's because Nintendo officially released this one here. So, yeah, yeah. What does it matter? A spoiler is a spoiler, whether it's officially from Nintendo or somebody else. Like, that part of the game is now forever ruined for you. Honestly, I fail to see how a single Pokemon is going to ruin a gaming experience. Obviously, it's not going to change the fact that you go out and capture Pokemon. It's not going to change the fact of the story you still know nothing about. Or, like, any of the mechanics or the fun gameplay. I don't think it's ruined. You just know it's out there. And if these people who were following me, who already talked about all these Sword and Shield spoilers before, why are they suddenly upset about this one spoiler when I had tons of spoiler videos before? And speaking of trainers too, since I kind of briefly touched that topic, like, the Pokemon community for some reason also is like going into politics, like where Nessa is representing of the black community now or other things, and that's one of the top comments in the thank you, like, Game Freak for representing black, and like, I mean, it's cool, alright, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm glad Pokemon could come up with so many different character types from so many different, like, races and other things. Like, it's just neat. But when it gets to the point where people get upset that Nessa isn't the correct shade of black, that's when we have a problem. And I talked about that before in a video, and I'm not gonna go over that whole spiel again. It's the same where, like, some trainers are too revealing and need their, like, clothes changed to be more appropriate. Like, it's a Pokemon game, and they're wearing a swimsuit because they're in the water. And honestly, with all this stuff, it's been really difficult for me to just enjoy Pokemon casually. Like, it's really difficult to be a casual Pokemon fan when you're surrounded by a lot of hardcore anime fans and Pokemon fans. Like, it's rough. And that's why, while this hashtag is trending, and there's some positive vibes being sent out now. That's why I thought, like, I wanted to make this video, because I want to spread awareness of, like, just how bad the Pokemon community has gotten, and I think it'd be okay if we just got a little bit more positive. The games are still fun as heck. And while not every game is perfect and you're free to complain about some issues, I think that's fine, but to the point where all you're doing is complaining and spoiling fun hashtags and ruining the fun of other people just because you're not getting what you want specifically, I think that's over the top. Like, if you just go to a Pokemon recent tweet, like, yo, like, you can party with your friends in the new Pokemon, and then, like, the top comment I see is, Pokemon Sword and Shield isn't so bad. Those graphics look good. Pokemon never had amazing graphics. The National Dex Pokemon wasn't important. I don't need Mega Evolutions. And then, yeah, it's just, you're putting on a clown face. You get it. You get it. And again, it's filled with bring back National Dex. And now with this movement, there's like fighting back with the thank you Pokemon. But there's still more bring back National Dex. It's kind of like the whole reason people are fighting back is because of all of this. Like, Blastoise died for this, all these, like, all of this. And then again, a countdown for the day, 6 days left, and then more bring back National Dex, more bring back National Dex. It's all that stuff here, yeah. Like, anywhere you go, you're gonna meet these people who are toxic, and some people are nice, and respectable in the National Dex, but there's a lot of people who are toxic too. To basically sum up this entire affair, the Dexers, the people who are bringing politics into Pokemon, the huge amount of expectations just thrown upon Game Freak and the developers have made it so that, well, the devs themselves are incredibly worried. People seem to think that, you know, you can just throw money at a problem and solve everything. And while Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise of all time, there is one commodity that you can never buy no matter how much money you throw at it, and it's time. Making a great game requires time. I know, I'm blowing people's mind. And sometimes the more people you hire for a project can actually hurt it because there's just too many people working on it and coding it that, you know, oftentimes the debugging process is a nightmare. There's just limits on what one single company can do. I'm not trying to make excuses for what they do and what they didn't do per se, but I'm just trying to, like, make people realize that too. They just can't poof, everything's good again. And frankly, I would just rather play a game with whole new experiences and new Pokemon rather than a game be delayed like another 1, 2, maybe even 3 years to get everything else in there and make everyone happy. And the only reason I say this is because the things that are being demanded is stuff that I wouldn't even want. Like, I'm not gonna use the old Pokemon, period. Like, they had their time to shine for me. I'm not gonna use them. And there's a lot of people that feel the same way. They just want to enjoy an entirely new experience with new Pokemon and don't really care about the old ones. And that's why these two sides are majorly butting heads against one another, because there are people who want to enjoy all their old Pokemon that they collected. And then there's other people who just want to enjoy just the new Pokemon and could care less and just want a good game. There's no clear black and white in this entire situation. There's no simple solution to this matter to make everybody happy. Hence the whole reason why this entire fan base is a shit show. But anyway, I just hope to spread some positive vibes here for the people that just want to enjoy a Pokemon game, and I think that's perfectly fine. And if people say that you shouldn't enjoy this Pokemon game because it doesn't have everything that they want in it, well, screw them. That's not a very nice attitude to have. Hence, I will be doing a 24-hour stream on Twitch on the release midnight, well, 9:30 p.m. PST for me, because that's when I'll be able to get it. So go ahead and check it out. Twitch link, you know, and we'll have a good time together. Spread some love with the hashtag #ThanksGameFreak. And, you know, just be positive about the thing, because Game Freak still has created a beautiful franchise and people should enjoy it. This whole franchise wouldn't exist if it wasn't for them. Please be a little respectful to them. don't send death threats their way. I've heard reports about some of that, not confirmed, so I'm not going to say much. But also don't harass them either. That's the main thing. Just don't harass the devs. You can politely protest. Peaceful protest is absolutely accepted. But just don't be just hurtful and toxic to the people who just want to enjoy the game too. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you, beautiful sons of guns, again next time.
You crazy mother.